In this exercise, we're going to start talking about exactly how to line up your images. In the previous example, we just put an image in your HTML and let it kind of sit wherever it may in the code and show up wherever the browser desires it to be. Using a combination of HTML5 code and cascading style sheets, we're going to start to take control of these images a little bit more. The first thing you're asked to do is go down below the nav element in your Notepad document. So if you don't have it opened yet, open your index.html file. Then we're going to add a tag for the figure. And we're going to assign this tag an ID of main. Then we'll close the figure tag. The next thing we're asked to do is to remove the ID main from the p tag. Remember, as an ID, it should show up once within the document, and since we're going to be using it within the figure tag now, we're going to stop using the ID main as part of the p tag. In between the figure tag on and the figure tag off, we're going to put an image tag, img src, for the image source. And again, in this case, we're going to ask the HTML to grab an image from the images directory. And the name of the image we're going to be looking for is sun.jpg. We're going to add a few attributes. Width. We're going to say the width is going to equal 369. And we'll add a height attribute as well. And that's going to be 268. And again, we're going to put in an alt tag, but we're not going to have any content within that alt tag. We're just going to put it there for consistency. We'll go ahead and we'll close this tag, and then I'm going to save the index.html document. You can see that the revised version of the document now has an image in it for your index page, and the image is just kind of placed. The code is being read by the web browser sequentially. The first thing that shows up in the code is being placed first. So you have the bed image showing up first, and then underneath it you have the text. So we'll go ahead and we'll open up the Lakeland.css style sheet, and we need to add a new selector to the style sheet. In order to keep things organized, one of the things you can do in your style sheet is put things in alphabetical order, and we're going to do that here. We're going to be working with a figure tag, so we'll put it just before the footer tag. Put the word figure in there. Do an opening curly brace. And then in step 4, it's going to talk about exactly what we want to place within this tag. We want a couple name value pairs. First one is display. And we want a block display. I'm going to go ahead and indent this a little bit to keep it consistent and readable. And then we're going to place float with the value of right, semicolon, margin 0.5 em, and then 1 em, semicolon, and padding 0. Now we'll put a closing curly brace, and we'll save this. Go back to our web browser. We'll reload this page. You can see some things have changed about this page. Now the text is aligned to the left. The image, which we had styled using the figure tag, is to the right, and that's why when we put in the name value pairs, we had a float to the right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the tools we've learned in this exercise and apply them to the rooms page. If you look at the rooms page as it currently stands, there's no images. We're going to want to take some images and apply the same set of rules. So we're going to use the figure tag again, and hopefully, if all goes well, the style that we applied to the figure element is going to apply in this case as well. So I'm going to go back to my Notepad document, and I'm going to go and actually open up the rooms page in HTML. And we'll scroll down to the first set of rules, and you notice that on page 135 it's actually asking to follow the instructions in the figure and figure 5 F6, and we're actually going to go right below the first room H3, and we're going to add a new set of tags called figure, and we'll close the figure. Then in between the two, we're going to put an image tag. It's going to be looking in the images directory for an actual image called sun. We're going to add a width attribute, 369, and a height attribute, 268, and an alt tag. For now, I'm going to leave the alt tag blank. Your book is actually giving you a specific set of alt information to put inside that, but we're just going to leave it blank to speed things up here a little bit. Then I'm just going to copy this figure information from the sunroom to each of the other rooms. So as we go down, we see the next room down is the read room. We're going to place the same code at the read room. Same code under treehouse. And the same code under garden room. Now this makes the process of adding code pretty quick, but as you can imagine, it's going to put the wrong image next to all the rooms except for the sunroom, because in each case we're telling the code to display the sun image. Well, let's take a look and see how it works for us. We'll save this. We'll go back to the browser and we'll reload the rooms page. As we scroll down the rooms page, we notice that the same image is repeated many times, and that makes sense because for each of the times where we put this figure opening closing tag and the image tag, we actually called the sun.jpg image. So we need to go back and fix that, but it looks like we might be on the right track. The other problem you see here is that the pictures aren't actually lining up with the text. There's more pictures as far as the total height of the document as compared to the text, and we'll fix that in the next exercise. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to the rooms HTML in Notepad, and we're going to correct these images so it shows the appropriate image for each room. So we go down to the read room, and we should have a image named read. Down to the tree house, we should have an image named tree. And to the garden room, I imagine the image name should be garden, and that is correct. Save this document, go back to our web browser, reload the page, and you can see now we have different images for each of the rooms. They still aren't lined up accurately with the room description, but we'll again figure that out and correct that during the next exercise. But you're well on your way. If you've gotten this far, be sure to go back and add the alt tag information as the book specified if you haven't already, and then move on to the next exercise.